So you would somehow suck air through your butthole and then release it.
Yes.
That's some talent.
Yeah. And I've seen other people
I
on
don't
YouTube.
even know how you do that.
Hi, babe.
Hi.
Guys, this is my girlfriend, Lena. Hi.
Hi.
So, here's what we're doing. We are going to play, not really a game, but we're going to ask each other, like, really awkward questions.
21 questions.
It's like 21 questions, but we can do, like, 30 questions.
Oh, that's a lot.
Or we can do, like, 5.
Okay.
Depends.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Sure.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Do you have questions?
Yeah, we do on our phones.
Well, have you prepared?
I did a little bit. Okay, do you want me to ask the first question?
Sure.
Okay. And if you don't want to answer one, you can tell me to skip.
Okay.
So, how long did your longest relationship last?
Oh, like just shy of 10 years.
That's a long time.
It is a long time. How long did your longest relationship last?
Just shy of 20.
That's longer than me.
So,
Okay. Do you have a embarrassing secret talent?
oh,
I know you do.
I do. Wait, which one do you know? I might have a couple.
Well, I'm going to let you answer first.
Okay. Well, I actually don't know if I can do it anymore,
Okay.
but I used to be able to do this. And actually, like, when I was in middle school, all my friends would, like, beg me to do it on demand. And I could do it on demand. I could, oh my gosh. I could make myself fart.
Yeah.
I could suck air up my butt on demand.
Yep. That's
Just let it out.
I was thinking.
It's nothing to be real proud of, but
So you would somehow suck air through your butthole and then release it.
yes.
That's some talent.
Yeah. And I've seen other people
I
on
don't
YouTube.
even know how you do that.
There's this guy who's actually made famous for it. I think his name's like literally like Mr. Fart or something gross like that. And he dresses up in this green costume and he can do it on demand. And he's been on like several like shows and stuff doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really gross. So like I said, nothing to be real proud of, but it is a hidden talent and it is embarrassing. So I hope I answered your question. I don't think I can do it anymore.
Well, you should try.
Well, I don't think
Do it right now.
I'm not as strong as I used to be down there. No, I'm not gonna do it right now.
Okay.
I'll try it again though, maybe tomorrow. But yeah,
Okay.
that's funny. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have living grandparents?
Yes. 2.
And they're
Well,
awesome.
that I know of.
I already know the answer to that.
I know.
I just like to talk about them.
Yeah.
They're really cute.
They're very sweet.
And your grandpa has such a cool story.
Yeah, he is from Vietnam, and whenever he was younger, he fought in the Vietnam War for the South Side. He was a pilot. And I just recently, in our visit down to Rogers, saw pictures of him. I mean, I guess I've seen some pictures before, but like that was like a long time ago when I was a kid. But seeing them as an adult, I just thought, oh my gosh, he really did fight in the war and he really was a pilot. Like there were pictures of him in uniform and with all the things that like in the military. I grew up not.
He was a good looking dude too.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he still
was.
is, but like he was sharp looking.
Yeah.
Dude.
I guess I grew up not even like realizing that he was military. Like I know like I grew up around people who had family that were military, but I never like really thought anything of it. And looking at those pictures of my grandpa over the weekend, I was just like, oh my gosh, he really was in the military. Like, that was not like a thing that was discussed very much while I was growing up. But I think it's because he was so just traumatized. I mean, after the Vietnam War, he was taken as a prisoner of war by communist North Vietnam for like 13 years. I mean, my grandma raised 5 kids by herself because he was a prisoner. And then after he was released from prison, he was so scared that they could pick him up at any time again. And so he got with the United States government, and that's how he brought our family over here. That was all before I was born. But it's just crazy to realize like all that he has lived through.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't even imagine.
I remember the first time you told me that story, I couldn't help but to cry.
I know.
Like, it's crazy to think that he was gone for that long.
Yeah.
A prisoner.
Yeah, prisoner of war. His mom was elderly, and I mean, she passed away before he could ever say goodbye. And I mean, she also had Alzheimer's and dementia towards the end of her life, and she would come to their house looking for him, and like not remembering that he was in prison, which is just really sad. And like in his old age now, he's experiencing the same thing with dementia and all that, and he remembers his mom and talks about her a lot, which is like really sad.
Okay, next question.
Okay. Do you believe in aliens?
Ooh. This is like your favorite subject.
I love it.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. Do I believe in aliens? I want to believe in aliens.
Do you really think that we're the only ones with like how vast our universe is, that we're the only ones?
I mean, I think there has been proof, I could be wrong, but like, I think there's like microorganisms and stuff on other planets that could be technically considered aliens. I don't know if we've ever actually found a living one, but haven't we found like proof of like, isn't there water on Mars?
I think so.
Or isn't there like a frozen lake on the moon?
I think they have found frozen water on either Mars or the moon. I'm pretty sure it was Mars.
Okay.
But have you heard the theory? I just saw this recently that octopi are aliens. Because they can basically shapeshift. I mean, they can squeeze their bodies through anything. They can camouflage to blend into things that are not naturally occurring in nature. And it's, what did they say? It was like octopi are like, just like, they don't seem like they're from this world. And some people theorize that they are actually aliens that came here, and they're like explorers, which they are like, by all means, with the camouflage and like shape-shifting and all that, they could be space explorers. They could be technically aliens.
That's wild. I've never heard that before.
You've never heard that before?
No, but that is cool. I mean, they do look like alien.
They're
like...
weird looking. They have like 3 hearts.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why do you keep calling them octopi? Is that because you're trying to be polite and not say the word?
No, I think that's the correct term for
Octopi?
a plural.
I thought it was octopuses.
No, I'm pretty sure that the correct plural is word for it is octopi.
Okay. Yeah, I do want to believe that there's another like life form or another like other beings out there. I don't know.
What about all the alien sightings? What about the government coming out with the UAP stuff? And that guy in the Air Force coming out with his thing about
Yeah.
seeing like that thing in the sky that's like,
like a clear sphere.
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I know.
Do you
That
think
stuff
they're-
is interesting. No, I know, but
they're
my,
all
like, so I
lying?
try, like, I want to believe that, and I do believe that they are seeing these things. But like, for me, I can't help but to wonder. Like, I just kind of tend to think more logically. Like, okay, maybe that is like an actual military, you know,
You think we have that kind of
Aircraft.
technology now?
maybe like Japan, some other foreign country that's like advancing and they're just like whirling around, or China. I don't know if China would have something that advanced yet, but it is interesting. No, I do want to believe. I do want to believe. But like, I always too like wonder, like when I was a kid, I would watch all these like scary like documentary type shows on TV of like everyone sharing like their experience about being abducted by aliens, and they all shared like very similar, you know, things, like getting probed and waking up in the middle of the night seeing the bright lights, and then they don't really remember much else except being put back in their rooms, or being on, oh no, they always mention like being on an operating table. I remember that, and they're being probed, but that's like all they remember.
Yeah.
But I can't help but to think too, like, did like one person like start talking like that, and then other people like, oh, I'm just gonna add to
I
that.
actually listened to a podcast on that.
Oh yeah.
And they do think like those first alien sightings, or I guess like modern recorded alien sightings like that, kind of initiated all these other stories. And so like that stuff I'm not so sure about, but whenever I hear about the military seeing things that are weird, and then how much the government is pouring into space exploration versus like the ocean, for example, like we don't know very much about the ocean, but why are they going out into space? They're looking for something.
Do you think it's weird that we haven't went back to the moon?
Yeah,
Why do you think that is?
that is the question.
Do you think it's because it's just like, why there's no need to go back because they didn't really find a whole lot, and it costs like a crap ton of money to go there?
I mean, yeah, it costs a lot of money, but don't you think like other countries would want to go there as well?
I think India just landed there recently.
Oh, they did?
Mm-hmm.
What?
And
When?
I think Japan's getting ready to land on the moon too, or maybe China.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Some other country is, yeah,
Like as far as I knew,
but not a person, just
Okay.
like a robot.
that is the thing.
I know.
Why have they not sent another person to the moon? Don't you think that's weird?
A
Don't
little
you think
bit.
like other countries would want to also have that that, what do you call it, achievement for their country? That's
You know, when
weird.
we landed on the moon, it was during the Soviet, the
Yeah, and Russia was about to beat the United States.
Yeah.
In like that conquest, I guess. And
we were trying to show our
yes.
power, like, hey, we just landed on the moon, and so
Yeah.
that's why a lot of people think the moon landing was fake. Do you guys think the moon landing was fake? Comment below. We want to know.
I think the moon landing was real, because if it's not real, then that just opens a whole can of worms. And then we would really know that aliens are actually real, because
100%.
nothing is true. We know nothing. We live in a simulation.
I know. And like, one of the biggest conspiracy theories, everyone's like, well, if you notice like the flag in the video, it's like straight. But if you do your research, the reason why the flag is completely straight is because it's actually made with a bar that goes like this,
Yeah.
because of, I guess, gravity. If they don't want it to just hang down low, they want it to be. It's our flag. Want it to be
Have
straight.
you ever heard of the dark side of the moon?
There's an album by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, so with like, I think like the moon's, I don't even know if I'm explaining this right, but I think like with how the moon or like rotates, we only ever see one side of the moon. And so there's a bunch of theories about the other side of the moon and what could be over there. And people have theorized that the reason why we haven't gone back to the moon is because there is something there that is preventing us from coming back. Like aliens.
Okay. Okay, next question. We could talk about this for hours.
I know.
Okay. Do you consider yourself addicted to anything?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, I am what do you call it? I hyperfixate on things. And so, like, over the last few months, I was really addicted to crocheting. And I'm addicted to, like, I always have to have something to listen to. So, like, for a while, it was true crime podcasts. And then more recently, it's been audiobooks, which I've listened to audiobooks in the past, but like I am always listening to a book and I get like really into the series and I'm like so invested in the characters and I'm like just like analyzing them and I think about them all the time. Like, just like, yeah, I'm totally addicted to books and crochet right now. Yeah, like even my screensaver right now is to Bellaris, the city of starlight, and that is a city in one of the, well, in the series that I am like completely immersed in right now. Like I wish I lived in that world.
You are a bookworm.
Yeah.
And you're very creative. And I love those things about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Thanks.
Okay, question for me.
Okay, if you could uninvent something, what would you choose and why?
Uninvent something? That's a tough question because most inventions are usually made for something good, but also every invention, someone is always going to find a way to use it for bad. So I'm trying to think of like the worst thing, maybe like the nuclear bomb.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. How old were you when you had your first drink?
Can I like get in trouble for that?
No.
Probably like 16 or 17.
Okay.
How old were you when you had your first drink?
I was probably 18 or 19.
Okay.
And after I did that, I never picked it back up again. I didn't even buy an alcoholic beverage on my 21st birthday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. I do like Michelob Ultra now. But I only started drinking beer like within the past 3 years.
Crazy.
Do you like to drink now?
Oh, yeah. But no, I don't like beer. I don't like liquor. I just like red wine. I don't even like white wine because it's too sweet and just gives me a headache. So I'm like refined. Just kidding.
Okay, I have one for you.
Okay.
What is my best quality?
I love how sentimental you are. Like you like live for the memories and making memories and looking back on memories and all that stuff. Like I feel like you just like notice the things that are worth remembering. Like you want to live in the moment, but then also be able to look back and be like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was so cool. Like remember this and remember this and remember, like, I don't know. I just like how sentimental you are.
I am pretty sentimental.
Yeah, you are.
Sometimes it can be a bad thing though.
What do you mean?
Like, if, for instance, this winter, I hate winter.
I love winter.
I know you do. I don't
I'm living my best life.
I know you are.
I'm wearing the beanie,
Yes,
wearing the
you
sweatshirt, wearing my boots, my cute
Yes.
shoes.
I hate the cold. I hate feeling like I can't go outside.
You can.
I know I can, but I have to put on like so many extra layers of clothing. It's just like,
fine.
ugh. But I catch myself sometimes being so sentimental that I'll compare the present to like last year, going, oh, this time last year I was like
Yeah.
I'm
And
feeling so
then
much
the next year you're
better.
going to say the same thing.
And next year I'm going to say the same thing. I know. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've always been a sentimental person.
Yeah. I feel like that's an Enneagram 4 thing.
And according to you, I am an Enneagram 4.
Yes.
And I did take the test, so I guess it is true.
Yeah.
What are you on the Enneagram?
Enneagram 9.
That's right.
Yeah. Which I think, so there's like Enneagram Nerd Talk. Each Enneagram has like a different time stance. There's certain Enneagram numbers that live like and think in the present. There's ones that think in the future and ones that think in the past. And the Enneagram 4 dwells in the past, which
Oh, yeah.
I see that in you a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And actually Enneagram 9 does too. But I feel like we think about the past differently, but that's just like, that comes with the nuances of how different each type is.
And for those who aren't familiar with the Enneagram, it's an online test that you can take, and it's a characteristic test, right?
Yeah, it's a personality test, but I feel like it's so much more in depth because instead of just telling you your like surface level good or bad qualities, it really gets to like the root of who you are, like your core reason for being, essentially. And it tells you like what you might have to look out for or work on within yourself. And it's a great tool for self-development and self-awareness. I think it's crazy because like once you find your Enneagram number, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that there are other people like me or that think like me, because it's so accurate and it's like old. Like this has been researched and developed over years and years and years, and I've read so many books about it because I hyperfixate, and I hyperfixated on the Enneagram for a while. But it's just crazy because everyone is so different, yet we are all very similar. But yeah, it's definitely something to look into. The thing is though, like there are personality tests out there, like the Enneagram test, but from what I've read, the Enneagram test online can only test you so far, like the questions and stuff like that. So it usually gives you like your top 3, and it's up to you to research those and decide like what you are for yourself, because you know yourself better than what an online test can tell you. Because like Chris, he first tested as a 2, which is the helper.
She's talking about me.
Yeah. And I see a lot of like those characteristics in you, like you're a caretaker and you're very giving and all that stuff. But those are just like surface level characteristics. Like a lot of people can be caretakers and giving and kind and all that stuff. But like whenever I think about you in Enneagram terms, like I look at your core motivation for everything that you do. And whenever I looked at that, I told you, even whenever you tested, that you're not a 2, you're a 4. And like for a while we were saying he's a 2 because he tested as a 2, but I was like, in my mind I was like, he's a 4.
Yeah, and you had like a book one night, and
Yeah.
that's when it was like this epiphany. It was like, and I even knew I was a 4 at that point too.
Yeah, like because every Enneagram number has like their core motivation for how they think, how they make their decisions, how they behave. Like everything comes from that core motivation, which for 4 is to be unique and an individual and autonomous. And I see that a lot in you. For 9, it's for all my like decisions and thought processes and all that stuff is to have peace, which I know like a lot of other people want peace too, but it's like once you like really dig into it, like there's so much more to that.
I remember one time I was posting about the Enneagram, and some lady tried to like warn me, saying like, it's satanic, stay away from that. And I get where she was coming from. Like, she was coming from a good place. She was saying like, don't let that define you. And I'm like, I'm not going to let an Enneagram or something like define me, who I am as a person, because, I am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look at it as some sort of satanic tool.
No.
But I look at it as more of this is something that's going to tell me a little bit more about myself. And if there's things, because it tells you like your strengths and also your weaknesses, like your weak spots,
Mm-hmm.
from a general, like this has been studied. Like, this isn't just something somebody just made up. Like, it's not like a magic,
Right.
So it's not black magic or anything. It's like a study on personalities.
Yeah.
And we all have personalities.
Yeah.
So for me, I use it as a tool to just like learn more about myself, and also look at like, the parts of my life or just who I am where I can actually better myself. And so I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, for sure. And like, not only that, it can be used as a tool to understand the people around you, because it helps you to be more empathetic towards all the other types of people, because you kind of see like why they do the things they do, why they think the way that they think. Yeah, it's a really great tool. And not only that, I've also, like, with all the books I've read, have learned that the 9 Enneagram numbers are actually based off of all of Jesus's characteristics. Like, Jesus was a moralist. He was a helper. He was like a achiever. He was different from everybody, and he knew all the things, and he like provided security, and he wanted peace and all the stuff. So for someone to say it's satanic, like, I just don't think they really know what it is. Like, they never really dug into it.
I agree. Like, I see it no differently than I used to work for a marketing company in town for several years, and they had us all do these strength finder tests. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was kind of very similar. It was just a psychological evaluation type test, just asking you a bunch of, questions. And at the end of it, it shows you like your strengths and your weaknesses. And I'll never forget, we were in a meeting, and we were all going around the room with our results, and like, it was mostly like 50% of the room was, their strength is, I don't know, something with marketing or something that could really pertain to something in the business. The other half was the same thing. And then when it got to me, I was like the only person in that whole office that my strength was the power of, is it woo?
Yeah, you told me that.
And I'll never forget, like, the owner of the company's daughter-in-law like looked at me. She was super cool, and she just started laughing. Like, she was trying not to laugh, but she was like, "Yeah, of course that would be you," because I mean, and I don't think it's a bad thing. Like,
no,
that means that and I wasn't marketing, I did videos, but like, to me, that told me like, I guess I'm just good with people and networking.
Yeah, you're a people person. I mean, yeah, like, look at like your success in networking and how that has helped your business. Like, I really see that in you. Like, you are a people person, and you're a woo person. You know how to woo people.
It was so funny though, because I was like scared. I was like, why am I the only one who got woo? I'm like, what is woo? What is woo? I know that was funny.
Aww, I want to take that test.
Okay, so I want to talk about your qualities that I really like. You have so many.
Okay.
I know this might sound so generic, but it's just so true. It's like you're just so kind. Aww. And you're just so sweet, and you always just seem to have a smile on your face. And like everyone around you, everyone who knows you, they just love you, and they always speak just so highly of you. And they always say, if anyone's like mad at Lena, they're their problem. It's not Lena. It's not Lena. It is true.
That's
You're just a
funny.
beam of light. Like you're just, you always have a positive attitude. I feel like for the most part about everything. And I do love how you're so creative. When I say you're a bookworm, like that's not a bad thing. I think that's actually,
Lost.
I think that's a great thing.
I live in like up here in the clouds rather than down here.
Well, and I love that about you. Like that's why you don't live in the clouds. Like you're a very curious individual. So you're always just diving into things,
All the different things.
all the different
I
things.
Googled this the other day trying to find a word to describe myself, and there is a word for this. And what I Googled is, what do you call someone who has lots of different passions and interests and hobbies? And it's called a multi-potentialite. It's a thing.
No, yeah, no,
It's a more recent term, but it's a thing.
that's you. That is you. So
Yeah.
I just feel like, yeah, you just have so many great qualities. And
Oh, thanks.
I mean, the fact that you're even open to like doing this, like I thought this was actually going to be like really awkward and weird. Not that like it should be.
Well, it's things that we would talk about anyway. Like we have all these like crazy random conversations about all the things.
We do, but when you have like lights and camera and all the things, it's, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
a different feeling for sure, because it feels like we're being watched right now. Do you agree?
I don't feel so much watch right now, but I do think I will feel like that once I actually see it.
Oh yeah, and you're gonna see all the comments and all the likes and all the all the fun
Well, not
stuff.
so much of that, just like seeing myself on the screen. Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I used to hate watching myself on camera. Sometimes I still do.
Well, I mean, I don't mind it so much. It's just kind of, I guess, like weird to see yourself and like look at yourself like how someone else would see you. Because like whenever I'm sitting here talking to you, I don't see what I look like, you know? Like I think that's the weird part for me, like just seeing my mannerisms and how I talk and all that stuff. Like it's just like another level of, I guess, self-awareness that back in the olden days you wouldn't have because they didn't have cameras and stuff like that.
Right. Okay, so let's do one more question each, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay. I can be hot. I can be cold. I can run, and I can be still. I can be hard and I can be soft. What am I?
Water?
Oh my god, how did you get that?
I feel like that was easy. That was really your last question?
I'm sorry. Okay, let me do another one.
No, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
Really hard.
I feel really smart right now.
Okay.
I just think it's funny that was your last question.
I don't know. It was just hard to find questions.
I know, we've talked about it a lot tonight. I think it's
Yeah.
been really fun. Okay, here's my last question for you.
Okay.
Okay. Did you ever expect to be with someone like me? And when I say that, I mean like just personality, Enneagram type, all the things. Like, am I your typical type that you would usually be attracted to?
Well, no. Well, I think like in some ways you are because you're very charismatic and just like funny and outgoing. But yeah, I don't know, like that's kind of like what scared me about you in like the first place because I'm usually dating guys that are like, I don't know, like better than me, you know? They don't really like seek to understand me or like really know me. Like, I don't know, it's just what I was attracted to. Like it was like a kind of like I had to work for it. But with you, like I just feel like fully accepted and fully seen and understood and all that. And that kind of scared me about you because I've never had that before. Like you aren't typically the guy that I would go for. Which I think, like usually you would be like the guy that I would be friends with.
Okay.
Which is why I messaged you in the first place, because we were going through like kind of the same thing,
Yeah.
both going through a divorce and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I was like, I could be friends with this guy.
Oh.
Like I can relate to him.
So you just wanted a friendship.
Well, whenever I first messaged you, I was fresh out of a divorce.
I know. Me too.
But then like as I got to know you and spent more time with you, I was like, I kind of like him.
That's awesome.
But I think like that's just, I guess, like I would call it maturity. Like where I was when I was younger, I wouldn't typically go for someone like you. Like, and I can recognize that I would be scared to go for someone like that. It's kind of like really risky because like being with someone that like fully sees you and understands you is really risky, because if they reject you, it's like, oh, that really sucks. But yeah, like whenever I started getting to know you and just like spending more time with you and everything, I was just kind of like, just felt like I could still be with someone like this. Like I like having someone that really knows me and really sees me and understands me. And that's not normal for me. Like usually like the type of relationship I would have is I'm seeking to understand them and I'm just like a part of their story, if that makes sense. Like I'm not like they would be the main character and I'm just like a background character. But with you, I feel like we're like the masters of our own story, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're a pair, we're a team. Like we go really well together. We do things well together. Like
Yes.
more of a partnership rather than anything I've had in the past.
I remember when we first started dating, I was kind of scared because you and I were like so much alike. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a creative, you're a creative. Mm-hmm. And then I also knew, because we were both doing a lot of reading, and I am totally an anxious attachment style type person in a relationship. And I think at the time you were as well.
Yeah.
And we were both like questioning, you know, like, is that going to work? If we're both
Yeah,
anxious?
again, like two anxious attachment people be
Just-
together.
Just two scared people.
Uh-huh.
And I think this is what I've learned about myself, is that though I am more so an anxious attachment style type person,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in this relationship I am an anxious attachment style still, but I'm also what's the other term?
There's secure and avoidant.
Secure. I feel like I'm anxious secure. Like if I could have a wing in that.
Okay.
Because I feel very secure in our relationship.
Yeah.
And I think you've learned that you're kind of a more so
Disorganized, avoidant, which is like a combination of anxious and avoidant. So I like flip-flop back and forth. And I've read a lot about it, and it has a lot to do with childhood and trauma and all that stuff. But I recognize that in myself a lot. But yeah, I feel, well, from what I've read, everyone has like their attachment style and where they're at and everything, but like the goal is to grow into a secure attachment. And I think we have that. Because I feel like with you, I'm not scared. Like I can talk to you openly. We can have like really in-depth, serious conversations without me being scared of how you're going to react and if you're going to leave me or whatever, you know, like it's a very secure place to be.
Yeah. It feels very safe.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
like that. Yeah.
And I think like that's what the attachment stuff is about. Like, there's people who are anxious attachment or avoidant attachment or disorganized avoidant attachment. And it has a lot to do with what they've been through, their childhoods, the relationships that they've experienced and all that stuff. But I feel like, and from what I've read, there comes a time when you get into a relationship and that relationship helps you grow into a secure attachment, which is what you want. And what you want for, I mean, like, attachment theory goes back to like child development. Like I've studied a lot of child development and the things that go into what shapes a child, and you want your kids to have secure attachment. Sometimes that doesn't happen in childhood, but they can definitely grow into it, which is, from what I've learned, achieved through relationship. Like you can't do it on your own. You have to do it through your relationships with people.
And I think what I was worried about too was, since we're both creatives, usually a creative person, like what I was used to, a creative person needs a structured person in their life, like a yin and a yang, right? Opposites attract. Are you not structured?
Do you think I'm structured?
No. Do you think I'm structured?
No.
No. And so
We live a crazy life.
we do. But I feel like it does work. It works great. But yeah, typically I would be attracted to or go for someone who's gonna be more structured and like kind of like tell me what to do and like give me structure.
Right.
And while usually a structured person needs someone who's going to be a little more creative, and most creative people are more, in tune with their emotions, and so they can, tap into that part, of that person. But yeah, I don't want that kind of person. I like a creative kind of person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To live in the chaos with you.
To live in the chaos. I like to be with another anxious person so we can be scared together forever.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Yeah, like I think like if you think about it from that aspect, I can see why a unstructured person would want a structured person, or like be naturally attracted to a structured person. But I feel like the saying that opposites attract doesn't always work, because they're opposites. Like they're not going to agree. It's a lot of cause for conflict. And not that there's no conflict with us, but I feel like with us, because we're very similar yet different, we understand each other a lot better.
Yes. And I think that's like what's great about it is like what you just said right there is we are similar yet different. I feel like there does have to be that different there, because like in the past I have dated, you know, people who were almost 100% just like me, and I thought that sounded great. It was terrible. I hated it. I was like, why? No, this is supposed to be like me showing you this movie, or this is me showing you this, whatever, this type of music. And with you and I, it's not like that. Like, you're always
We have very different tastes.
very different tastes, and I love that. And you're showing me like these crazy documentaries that I've never heard of, but they're just so intriguing and so awesome.
Yeah.
And I know I'm always just bombarding you with like 80s horror and weird music, and thank you for putting up with that.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting up with all my crazy conspiracies and murder documentaries and scary podcasts.
Oh, I love it. If it wasn't for you, on these long drives, you know, when I'm going to a video shoot, I would never have like known about all these crazy true crime podcasts and interrogation videos that I'm obsessed with. And they make time fly, and they're really interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I love how we're both creatives, but in different ways. Like, we express our creativity very differently. I think that's fun because it makes for a full household of creative fun.
That's right. So what did you think of our first podcast together?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's just normal, like
Yeah.
how we usually talk.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want to do more?
yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to see more? If so, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below. And yeah, just tell us what you really enjoyed about this podcast. If there's any other guests you'd like to see on the show, comment that as well. And I think we should make more of these. Okay. Let's do
I
it.
agree.
All right. Guys, I'm Chris Canote with Canote Films, Lena, and we'll see you guys next time.